Alright fellas, here we're back in our Pokemon Masters video, where we ourselves the overview for Champion Selene and Shiny Dawnwing Necrozma. Yeah, okay, that's... I did not do the overview for Ilio. I was tired or lazy. You can depend which. I will let you define that. I don't care. It doesn't really matter to me. But if you do want my input on, like, should you summon for Ilio or whatever, I mean, I think Steel is, like, really, really strong. It's like, if you want to make your, like, optimal Steel type team, that's a different question. But if you just want, like, a strong Steel team, you're obviously going to want to have, without any sort of, like, restrictions attached, you need Arceus. Like, he is just so broken. You still have the, like, the free-to-play Anniversary Lily if you manage to pick her up. She is really good still. Signature Leer is amazing, of course. You know, that was all around the same time. Even outside of, like, these two like bigger options, though, you still got Poppy as well as special costume Selene. Regular Poppy here as well is not bad. Hop, Variety Hop is really good too. Mix Scout Dawn is not terrible at all either. Steel has good options. Like, as long as you have basically a core of like Anniversary Steven, your Steel's going to be really good. I mean, there's not much else that can really be said about that. Like Anniversary Steven, just super good. It's actually pretty insane to like say otherwise, I guess. But anyway, Ilio is really good. I think Ilio is really good. His biggest issue is gauge. I think having to have like a gauge management character for him is really kind of vital. Leer is not terrible at that role, being able to give all allies free moves next. That is definitely helpful for him. And also, Ilio is a big character that works off of getting circle buffs. I forget wherever the hell is it? Right here. Limitless power. Increases his own physical moves next by 2 when an ally applies circle, and sync move up next by 3 when an ally applies circle. Leer is a big circle setter with Passive Solidarity. He's obviously also got the same type of double dip with Flag Bearer, so you know you're getting kind of like the double buffs with the Master Passive as well as the circle. Ilio is very similar to that as well. The only thing is that obviously you're going to be missing out on Steel Zone with like a setup of Arceus Steven, Ilio, and Signature Leer, but you will be making up for it, in my opinion, I believe, with the circle. I could be wrong. I definitely could be, and I will certainly be wrong whenever we get our EX zone, like Steel Zone setter. But you know, we could see how. I'm mostly very curious to see how they end up doing that. But anyway, Ilio's good. Like, he's gonna be able to do really good damage. He's got an amazing ability to set the circle, with this effectively being able to do it infinitely as long as he still has MP remaining on Morning Sun, which you can manage by having, well, the best support in the game, the best tank in the game, being able to actually heal up Ilio extremely efficiently without having to like drop him below half. Just saying. I mean, obviously there's going to be exceptions, stuff will happen, but like you can get a lot of circle uses out of this buddy move pretty easily. So, do I think Ilio is worth going for? I think he could be your like the best option in that trio of, you know, Arceus Steven, Signature Leer. He would be like the best third, I would say. Is it worth it? Like, unlikely. I don't think it's really worth it when we already have such good other Steel type options, and we still are waiting for that EX Steel Zone setter in the far future whenever we do end up actually getting that. So that is just something to consider here. Also, I did not notice the update of the website, so I guess I can just go ahead and not use Bribery's website. Sorry, Bribery, your stuff's awesome though, but I just like the formatting of this one a little bit better. Okay. So, Champion Selene and Dawn Wings Necrozma. Shiny, of course. This is a good character. This is a really good character, and it's a character I think is very good to actually pick up if you want to buff your ghost types. Because she's got a lot of abilities that are kind of future-proof, at least feel future-proof. Looking at her stats at level 150, like 5-star base, no EX roll, which, by the way, she is a sprint field, so cool combination. She's got 472 special attack, 184 on both defenses, 711 HP, and 369 speed. This is all fine, and definitely not bad on the speed and offensive stats. HP and defenses or whatever, but of course with actual EX investment, those go up. Over 500 special attack, over 400 speed, over 800 HP, 220 defenses, and field does give even more defenses and HP and speed. So she's got good stats all around. She's going to be able to take hits in game modes where she's like kind of forced to, obviously mostly like legendary arena cases. But her bulk in general for like ultimate battles, like the high score event and etc. I guess isn't it? She's not going to be like crippled unless she's hit by dark moves. But she actually does have ways to mitigate against that, though you're probably not going to be picking up if you have a higher investment on her. Anyway, so looking at her moves, she's got Moongeist Beam. We know how this works. 4 gauge, 160 minimum power with 192 maximum power. Targets one enemy, guaranteed to hit. Well, 100 accuracy, not guaranteed to hit. It ignores enemy damage reduction passives, crit protection, and endurance. let's just skip and say she also has this on her buddy, Moongeist Beam, and she's got it on her sync move, which is different from the main character in Solgaleo, Lily, Anniversary Lily in Solgaleo, and also Anniversary Lily and Lunala. It is very different from those characters, and the fact that they don't have that, despite, okay, well, Lily in the main character's sync move is like, what the hell is it? What is it called? I don't even remember. It's like, it's Solgaleo's sync move. I still don't remember it at all. Sunray Smash. So that, but they don't have that innate effect on their sync move where they ignore crit protection stuff, and neither, for some reason, does Anniversary Lily, despite it actually being Moongeist Beam. It doesn't really make any sense, but I guess it's a thing. Thankfully, Elio and Selene do not have that problem, and well, damage reduction abilities are present in a lot of fights. There's like, just as an example, the Evelyn Ultimate Battle, I believe, and also Annabelle's Ultimate Battle. Annabelle has, what is it? What is the sun damage reduction? Sunscreen. She's got, I believe she's got sunscreen. She's got sunscreen as well as fluid fortification. Evelyn also has fluid fortification. Those abilities get completely ignored in terms of whenever Selene attacks effectively, because it is hitting through enemy damage reduction gimmicks. That's going to be really good. It's amazing in the legendary arenas. It can be pretty useful in some high score event stages as well, I think. How does the high score event stages work with their parameters? Does that count as damage reduction passives? Probably not. Okay, well, either way, any enemies that have things like acute senses or healthy advantage or fucking, again, fluid fortification, just another example, sunscreen, like those damage reduction passives when like weather, terrain zones, and stuff like that are up, these go through that, and that is good. Going through endurance is not nearly as big. Ignores target's enduring effect. Does this, okay, I don't know because I never tried it, but does this stuff go through enemies like 60% HP endurance stuff? If so, that's good. If not, kind of a well, I guess. And crit protection, of course, ignoring enemies' crit protection is good as well. Like, but most enemies don't tend to have passives that have crit protection, but still, I mean, for future cases, it could be good. It's mostly the passive skill ignoring stuff that's really good. This was very broken back in the day, not nearly as broken now, but still can be found in good spots in a lot of like higher tier, stronger content. So yeah, Moongeist Beam, solid damaging option, yada yada. The Buddy Moongeist Beam, 430 minimum power, 100 accuracy as well. It's 2 gauges. With only 1 usage and a max power of 516. Pretty big difference, almost 100 power difference there, so do consider move levels do have a bigger effect on this move's damage. But it's activated whenever she uses any move once, deactivated when used. It does the same, ignoring damage reduction, crit protection, and endurance stuff. Lowers enemy special defense by 3. The more MP of Moonlight the user's Moonlight has when attacking, the more reduces sync countdown up to -3. So you can skip up to a full rotation of sync countdown. That's really solid. I mean, sync acceleration is always going to be pretty good to have for basically any content, so it's nice to see it. This works off, I'm going to believe, just if she has 2 MP left, then it's going to be doing, yeah, the more MP remaining, the more reduces. So if she has 2 MP, it'll do -3. If she has 1 MP, it'll do -2. If she has no MP left, it'll do -1. Probably. I mean, that's like the best way you can think about it. So decent enough, I guess. I mean, the special defense debuffing is nice. It's lower on power, which is the thing with her being lower on power on this move is it's not that great. It makes the move just like, it's not a bad move, but it's not a move that's going to do like a omega fuckload of damage or anything like that. And she doesn't really have any other way to restore any MP to it, even going very far ahead. 5 out of 5 Trainer Sync Redemption. If this was Sync Burst, different tune, completely different tune, but it's not. It's Trainer Sync Redemption, so it only restores this, sadly. But whatever. It's not a crazy buddy move, but it's gonna do good damage. Like, it's gonna be a good way to do some burst damage pretty quickly, but it's not hitting like the highs of like Ash's buddy move or Arc Lance's buddy move or anything like that. Just to consider. She's also got Moonlit Gory, her trainer move, which I think I said Gory, whatever. Reduces sync countdown by 2, applies super effective next to the user, increases special moves next of all allies, just her, by 3, and applies the Alola Special Circle, which does all this shit. Okay, Alola Special Circle, we know how this works. It's going to be giving you, at maximum, up to a 40% special power buff and 14% special damage reduction for your moves and your sync moves. And of course, with her being Alola, this at minimum is going to be 20% of a power buff and 8%, I believe. Yeah, 8% damage reduction because it starts at 5, I believe, and then plus 3 because she is Alola, right? So Will she be run with Alola characters? That's a damn good. That's a damn fine question. I don't know about that. I mean, if you want to be funny and do double Lunala, like, sure, but, like, for actual functional play, probably not. I think you can get away with running Acerola, just because Acerola is, like, a bulky god, and, I mean, she's kind of just a good general supportive character. But obviously, you're probably going to want to run someone else who can, like, manage her, like, enhance her damage probably a little bit better, which, okay, I'm gonna be frank with you, I don't even know who that is. Other than, like, the obvious, like, oh, Champion Blue. Run Champion Blue or something like that. Like, sure, that exists, but other than that, like, who? Like, maybe Giovanni? Got a little bit of, like, a zone overlap if you opt to run a Ghost on Setter, though. Yeah, like, Ghost does not really have too much of a dedicated support, and she doesn't work well with Arcsuit Steven. Well, she'll work fine with Arcsuit Steven. I mean, Steven's just a good support in general, but, like, she doesn't benefit from his physical moves next or any of his physical enhancements, right? There are better options for that on that front. But, like, someone like Champion Blue can probably run with her fine enough, I guess. Though he only really does special enhancement with +2 special moves next off the trainer move, isn't that right? And, like, I guess he's got passive for trainer sync power-ups, or, like, ally sync power-ups, or ally speed power-ups. There we go. Stuff like that. But whatever. There is no dedicated Ghost. There's not really any dedicated Ghost support. I mean, your best, like, the closest thing, again, is probably Summer Acerola, but for the most part, like, Summer Gardenia, not a support, but a utility character, I suppose. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't really matter too much. You can definitely, if anything, I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but if anything, it means you can get away with running a lot of other supports with her, just because no support is going to be like a match made in heaven, I would say, with her. Unless I'm completely just skipping over someone, which I could be. Feel free to tell me who I might be thinking, like, not thinking of at all. It's entirely fair, right? But whatever. So this is some good effects here. I mean, the special circle is good. It's not nearly as much circle setting as Elio has, but it is still some circle setting, so that's good to see. And again, the sync move here, where she's got herself the any multiplier of the more special tags raise the greater power of her attack, and again, that damage reduction ignoring and crit protection ignoring stuff. So, also, I do like that they added that you don't have endurance ignoring here. I can't speak. I'm stuttering all the hell. I do like that they added that because sync moves already bypass endurance, regular endurance, sadly not the like 60% HP endurance stuff that a lot of enemies tend to have, at least in ultimate battle settings. But yeah, so she's got innate multiplier here. That's gonna be pretty good to have on top of all the other damage stuff she's got. Which, by the way, again, her stats are good. Just I can't add them back because they don't want to save my changes apparently. She's got a little spirit for her passives here. Again, I was talking about it with Elio. I talk about it with every single master player that has a circle. Double dipping your spirit passive as well as having a circle. It just means you get double the effects for your whole team. Your team has more effects, and well, your team's damage is better just because of that. So you're getting more special attack buffs and more special damage reduction. Not for your sync moves, sadly, but for your regular moves, still that's going to be good. Obviously, she's got some pretty solid power behind her. With up to 50% of a power buff and 31% damage reduction. And again, her being a Alola character does allow her to apply extra buffs to this, so it's nice to see. Well, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so. Oh yeah, damage reduction. Okay, yeah, cool. Whatever. Well, yeah, powers up special attack by 20% and then allies 15%. So yeah, raw 20% and then raw 25% if you have no other Alola allies. Anyway. Oh boy. Whoo! Okay, Papa. I'm so glad we have this. This is so good. Ooh, it's 5. Nice. Okay. The Beast That Calls the Moon, her passive. Grand Entry 6 and guarantee crits. Let's just get these two out of the way. It's full self-sufficiency. She doesn't have impervious or any like stat reduction mitigation, but well, I guess that one if I choose Dauntless, so that's good. But she does have the ability to max out her special attack on entry and guarantee crits on her moves and sync moves. And if it does AoE, she does here, she'll be fine as well. And then let's go into that. So of course we know the good self-sufficiency. Now all her moves are AoE. Okay. When an attack move used by the user's Pokemon that targets itself or an ally is successful, target becomes all allied sync pairs. When an attack move used by the user's Pokemon that targets itself or an ally is successful, attack becomes all allied sync pairs. Since when do you fucking attack yourself? What what is this good for? Like what is it called? Fucking damage split? No, split pain. There it is. Okay. Whatever. I always am so confused when they add stuff like this, but it doesn't matter. The big thing is that whenever you're targeting an opponent, the attacks target becomes all opposing sync pairs. When the sync move is targeting an opponent, the target becomes all opposing sync pairs. Power and chances of applying additional effects are not lowered, even if there are multiple targets for moves and sync move. So yeah, her damage, her Moongeist beams become AoE, her buddy Moongeist beam becomes AoE, and her sync move becomes AoE. And it's got guaranteed crits, and she already starts out with +6 special attack. Fully self-sufficient, and also she's got her multiplier based off special attack, which again is maxed. You don't have to worry about it being like some +4 bullshit. You have +6 without any sort of doing anything, which is funny considering I think Anniversary Lily basically introduced us to the stupidly like fast setup meta, I guess, because she was I think the first character to really be able to do this, and we did not get many characters afterwards for that. But now, well, we got a lot of characters now that do similar stuff to this, guaranteed crits and on entry offensive buffs. Very, very strong stuff, obviously. And just add a little bit extra to it, extends the duration of Alola Special Circle when applied to the outfield of play by 50%. That's a 50% extension. That is going to be a good amount of time this will be lasting. The big thing I think people might want to point out whenever like you see this is the fact that this is very good if you run her alongside this Selene, which I am curious to see. I am frankly very curious to see like how the results of that team will actually end up working. I do want to know, but I don't think it's going to be that crazy. Where you've got Alola analysis with this Selene, she set Special Circle. That's going to be giving you that Special Circle up, and then of course the 50% extension whenever you run her with Champion Selene, as well as the Master Passive, right? So you're going to be getting a lot of stuff with that. And if you have her at 10 out of 5, you'll be getting Debut Special Circle as well, and Trainer Sync Redemption for even more Circle stuff. And if you have her 5 out of 5, you get an extra 30% extension on top of that. So if you run those two together, you're going to be getting a crap load, an actual crap load of Special Circle, right? But that's if you run them together. Obviously, the caveat to running them together is that you probably are going to be missing out on like the zone, which, ugh, that could be rough. If you run like Rock Zone for Selene, they're going to be running out. Okay, they're both Selenes. God damn it. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon Selene. Ultra Selene, we'll say that. If you run Rock Zone for Ultra Selene, you're going to be missing out on the Ghost Zone for Champion Selene, but if you run the Ghost Zone for Champion Selene, you'll be missing out on the Rock Zone for Ultra Selene. I'm never saying that sentence again. That's a lot of Selenes. But so, yeah, I think it could be a similar case. Like, again, like the setup of Elio, Lear, and Steven being together, and they can't run Steel Zone, but they've got all this circle spam nonsense that's really good. I think you could see something similar with both of the Selenes being run together, potentially under Ultra Elio, who could have his defensive circle for extra even more damage, and again apply to Selene's Master Passive here. So that could be a good setup. I don't know how gauge is going to be. Ultra Selene's gauge is fine. She has a tile specifically for it, and this Selene's gauge is good with caveats. Mostly targeting one enemy and having 3 out of 5 with this specific tile. But anyway, so that's just something I did want to mention there. Why is this not? Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so this is a very, very strong passive so far. The extension, guaranteed crits, guaranteed AoE, +6 special attack, very solid stuff. Continuously expel energy. Grants one of the following effects depending on how many opponents were hit after using the user's sync move. Applies free moves next when exactly 3 opponents were hit. Charges gauge by 2 and increases special moves next by 1 when exactly 2 opponents were hit. And increases special moves next by 3 when 1 opponent was hit. I was mentioning it in my reaction to this character's kit, and I want to say it again. A big problem with a lot of AoE focused characters is that once the enemy is once the AoE enemy is gone, or like the sides are gone, you immediately lose like a lot of the benefits of being AoE, because, well, you're not targeting multiple opponents anymore, you're only targeting one. Characters like Signasu Bead kind of make up for that, and the fact that he's able to get more offensive buffs. I say more, it's not as much, but it is still a way to kind of make up for it. He's able to get more physical and special moves next whenever he's hitting one opponent, because, you know, he's kind of designed to hit multiple opponents and get more moves up next that way, but they kind of made up for it again. Selene does a similar thing here, and probably even a little bit better, where she's actually right here, where she's able to get +3 special moves up next. This is just on her sync move. Let's keep that in mind. It's not on her regular moves, sadly, but it does give her that +3 special moves up next, which can be stacked into a next, obviously your Moongeist Beam, which is going to do a lot of damage, but more importantly, probably your buddy Moongeist Beam. Especially if you have the circle still activated, this is like the best opportunity for you to be able to use the buddy move with her, because you have +3, +4, however many special moves up next, which she's easily able to stack, and also the circle here as well. Which again, if you do chain those together, sync move, trainer move, and then buddy move, that's a +6. Jesus, plus 3 special moves up next here. That's a plus 6 special moves up next boosted buddy move there. And that's going to be really, really good if you don't want to make use of its big AoE applications, I guess, which is fine. You really don't have to with it. So again, this is a good way for her to like have gauge management if she's hitting multiple enemies, and then have good extra straight firepower if she's only targeting one enemy, because you are losing a lot of the benefits of this whenever multiple enemies are gone. And then Warm Moonlight reduces MP for the user's Moonlight by 1, and does this stuff. It increases her HP by 50%, or restores her HP by 50% of the max, and then increases special moves next by 2. Okay. Unlike Elio, who really would love just to maintain as much uses of his Morning Sun as possible, Selene does not tend to care too much if her Moonlight goes down. Like, the only thing you lose is some sync countdown, which, you know, depending on your strategy, that could be important, maybe, right? But for a lot of cases, it's not really going to matter too much, I feel. So you're able to still make really, really good use of this, and you're able to get those special moves up next. And again, if you're lucky and you really want to stack it up, you can have her time the perfect timing where she drops below half HP, restores her own HP, gets plus 2 special moves up next, uses her sync move targeting one enemy, gets plus 3 special moves up next, and then uses her trainer move and is able to get another plus 3 special moves up next. That's plus 8. Then you got the circle up. If you got a Ghost Zone ally, you have that up. Wallop the enemy, right? With this buddy move, it's going to do a crap load of damage that way. And that's a good way to wait. That's how she's kind of working. She's got a lot of different ways to enhance her damage, mostly in the forms of special moves up next, but also, of course, being able to do a lot of AoE damage as well. Not really any direct multipliers, but she does also have, of course, that circle and that master passive to act as ways to improve her damage. Also, she does have the sync move with a multiplier, and she's got her special cookie, which is giving her an extra 40% power up on her sync move whenever she is, well, syncing with the circle in play. So you do want to have the circle in play. That is something that you do want whenever she is syncing, just for the multiplier here, but also, of course, because it would just give you extra damage anyway. So it's good to see. I think that this is a very solid design on a base kit for a character that's mostly going to be doing a lot of damage. But again, that damage that penetration with the damage reduction stuff is also really, really good. Let's look at the grid. Okay, I'm out of breath. Oh yeah, let's look at the grid. She's got Dauntless here. I mean, that's good with if you have literally nothing else, because it just prevents this from, you know, being mitigated. That's good to have. 2 out of 5, she gets a Gauge Refresh on Moongeist Beam as guaranteed, as well as a 40% chance here. So 2 Gauge Refresh tiles. NPR and Master Healer on Moonlight. Trainer move, special moves up, or special boost, whatever. Special moves up next whenever you're using a trainer move here. Takes super effective hit, 30% damage reduction from moves and sync moves, and then circle HP recovery and gauge acceleration. Okay. How's the best way to think about this? The NPR doesn't really matter if you're going to be trying to utilize this for her Moonlight, but if you are actively using it, mostly probably going to be in a legendary in a case. This is great to have. This is just, if you are like a legendary gauntlet player or something like that, this character is already going to be really good because of her damage ignoring stuff. I don't think I really need to say that, but also the healing. I mean, this is going to make her a really, really good character for the legendary, and she's got basically infinite healing here, naturally solid bulk stats, extra 30% damage reduction whenever taking those super effective dark type attacks. It's going to be, of course, very helpful, especially if you run her alongside like Dark Guard or something like that. And that's good to see. And again, these gauge abilities, similar case, and the circle gauge up here, similar case, circle HP recovery. I think this could be good in a more general setting as well. Having HP recovery is just, like, tick healing in general is just pretty solid to prevent like extra potions from being needed, or obviously the character just dying in general. I like tick healing a lot, so that's good to have just in all cases. Special boost is not a massive difference, but again, if you want to kind of chain like all of those special moves up next, like to where you can then make like a plus 7, 8, 9, whatever boosted buddy move here, this can help attribute to that, if that's how you want to play, but it's not really that impactful. Overall, I think her 2 out of 5 is a good gauntlet 2 out of 5, a very good one at that, not like just the classic, oh, I get 20% damage reduction, oh, 20% gauge ups, like stuff like that. No, like, no, the NPR and Master Healer and Gauge Refresh 9 and Gauge Refresh 3 tiles all being here together, those are really, really, really good. Like, definitely tiles you would love to pick up just in general. So yeah, those are, again, mostly a legendary gauntlet grid, but you could probably make some decent usage of like the guaranteed Gauge Refresh as well as the HP recovery in basically any content. So her gauge management is really solid. At 3 out of 5, she gets Furious Brain, status immunity, one opponent on the field, hit special boost 1. Good lord. And then the same thing, but for free moves next. We'll go into it in a bit. Unfortuitous 9, Endurance, Sync move, Special Boost 2, Circle, Sync moves up by 90%, and then 2 Sync tiles. Okay, so Sync multiplier. This is good. Sync multiplier, 90% sync multiplier on top of brain power, on top of the extra 40% here she has as a lucky skill. Even if you're on critical strike, that's another 20%, whatever. On top of the circle, that's going to be giving her a very, very good ghost nuke, especially because she already has guaranteed crits, and her move is her sync move is going to be AoE, and she's got +6 special attack, which if you do want to pick up Dauntless, you can, and that will prevent debuffs for her special attack, so you never have to worry about that ever being debuffed. So she does have very, very good sync potential, probably one of the strongest ghost nukes, mostly probably in the case of being from like a non-tech. I'm not sure if I feel like Renegade Cynthia's sync move might still be better. I'm not too sure on that. I would say 250% multipliers, yeah, probably plus tech multiplier, yeah. I'd say Renegade Cynthia's is still better, but having those guaranteed crits there, that's very, very helpful. Does Cynthia have? No, she doesn't have Soften Up. Yeah, no, she doesn't have Soften Up, huh? Okay, well, whatever. It doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, like Cynthia's nuke overall, like it might at max power probably is better, and there probably are a few other ones, like maybe Eriott. Eriott I could definitely see with her similar multipliers and stuff like that. But Selene is definitely going to be no slouch. I would definitely say she is going to be very, very good for her sync move as well. Just especially once we consider like everything else, like her amazing AoE spread damage and stuff like that. It's actually really, really strong. Sync move special boost here. Again, okay, I feel like this is a really, really solid tile as well, just because this is applicable no matter how many enemies are in the field. So you're going to be good to have special moves next after your initial sync move, no matter like what happens. But if you do have only one enemy, you're going to be stacking 5 special moves next after every single sync move, and that can be really powerful. And again, you know, you can chain that into your trainer move, and you can chain that into having your HP lowered by 50% to get up to +10 special moves up next pretty easily for her buddy move if you want to play it that way. But obviously, you know, on the lower end, you're still getting, you know, +2, +3, +5 special moves up next every time you sync, no matter, you know, how many enemies there are, right? So that is really, really good. It's gonna make her Moongeist beam damage looking better, and on top of that, Furious Brain, right? Furious Brain multiplier, gonna make all your damage look better. I don't need to explain why this is a good tile. It's gonna be really good. It's her only main form of like damage enhancement outside of all the special moves next and circle buffs and the master pass. Okay, that's a lot of damage enhancement buffs, but it's gonna be working on top of those, right? So that is gonna be extremely strong. Status immunity, unfortuitous, and endurance. These are mostly okay, these are utility tile. This is a utility tile as well, but I'll go into that later. Unfortuitous, I feel, is debuffs are fine in general. I think for her, she doesn't really care too much considering her ability to ignore damage reduction gimmicks. So like, you know, I was like, oh, I can hit through fluid fortification now, but I can also debuff, but it's like I kind of don't need that, right? Something like that. Similar case here, but also debuffs can just be good in general, because offensive debuffs, your team takes less damage. Defensive debuffs, your team does more damage. Like accuracy debuffs, enemies might not hit you, stuff like that, right? You know, debuffs can still find a use, and that's why it's mostly here as like a filler tile, or like a tile that is you're gonna pick up if like you find the very niche case you need it. It's not like it's something that's detrimental for her to not have, but it is there if you do find yourself needing it, right? Status immunity, similar case. If you do find yourself getting statused a lot, or if you're facing an enemy with a lot of status conditions, or applying a lot of status conditions, this is good for that. But also at the same time, a lot of stages only really commit to one status condition, like Legendary Arena Moltres with Burn. You can just run Burn, like Flameproof as a lucky skill and be fine. Or like, I don't know, Indana Freeze. If you get unlucky with that, there you go. You know, you can just run like Antifreeze if you really want to. Pretty sure I actually did. I'm pretty sure I remember running Antifreeze on Dana stage because I kept getting unlucky freezes. So yeah, I mean, cases like that, you know, status immunity not so useful because you can run a lucky skill, but it is there if you do find yourself in the case where you need it. In endurance, I think this is mostly useless. I don't find this to be too helpful really at all. A lot of enemies are not. A lot of cases, I don't find enemies bringing me down to like super low HP and then like KOing me. I find them mostly KOing me with sync moves. I think that's usually what ends up happening to me. So endurance does not really protect you against sync moves, sadly. If it did, kind of a different case, but You know, if you can find a use for it, there it is. It's right there. Kind of expensive to get to, though. Yeah, kind of expensive to get to. Obviously, the 2 sync tiles are good for the extra sync power-ups, which we went into earlier, and then these 2 tiles. One opponent on the field, hit, special boost. This is very good. This is +1 special moves up next every single time you attack when there's only 1 enemy. Obviously, you've still got the advantage of being able to do great spread damage, even if you don't have this activated. And once this is activated, well, now you're actually able to do very competent single target damage on top of all the other ways she's got of getting special moves up next, whether it be by the sync move, whether it be having her extra special moves up next from her like Moonlight here, or if she's able to just get it from an ally or using her trainer move, whatever it is. Like, she's got a lot of ways to get special moves up next, and that can stack alongside this, especially if you also bring certain allies who can buff a lot of special moves up next. That's going to work out very well. And then the free moves next whenever hitting only 1 enemy. God tier gauntlet tile, I'm honestly pretty... Someone correct me. I mean, we've got gauntlet nerds in the community that I think some watch my videos. Please tell me what is preventing her from potentially getting like a faster clear in all legendary arenas than Bianca. I guess like Moltres could be really oppressive, but like she's got great healing. I mean, she's got great healing. That's about where I'm at with that. Great healing, great nuke, great gauge. I really think she could do it. Maybe it's just like the healing. I don't know. Maybe she won't get it faster because of Moltres, right? So maybe Bianca will still be better than her. Either way, she's going to be god tier in the legendary arenas just because of this. Like, you don't have to worry about gauge anymore. She's able to pierce through... How many stages are affected by piercing blows? Is it not just Moltres and Regirock that are kind of unaffected by it? That I'm thinking of? And obviously there's the ones without gimmicks, but like they get fodderized anyway. I think it's just Regirock and Moltres that could be issues, and I think she'll get Moltres anyway. I don't think she'll have much of a struggle there. Like, okay, she'll probably struggle, but like she's got a lot of damage reduction on her side. Whatever. Besides that, though, like even outside of legendary arenas, having gauge management is very good for her. There are I don't want to say there's very few supports that can like help her manage her gauge, because there are quite a few. It's just that, again, she's kind of back to that point of like she does not have a very super uber strong like dedicated support. Again, you can run like alt Elio, and this case actually probably allows you to run alt Elio with her very, very well if you do want to do that, again, like that alt Elio, alt Selene type setup alongside her, where you're getting that super strong damage without ever having to like touch Ghost Zone for her. I think that's one case where it can be very good. But if you're bringing gauge managing support, then this is not gonna be that helpful. But if you're not bringing gauge managing support and you bring someone else that can like maybe enhance her damage better or enhance another character on your team's damage better, and they aren't that good with managing gauge, well, this tile is there to save you, assuming you can get that far to where there's only 1 enemy left, right? But sides tend to be pretty frail, and the buddy move kind of exists here. If you need to like quickly take out the sides, you can kind of do that with that as well if you don't want to save it to have a bunch of special moves up next boosted from her attacking only 1 enemy. Just, again, things to consider. Very good 3 out of 5, though. Overall, very, very good 3 out of 5. She's got good nuking stuff, good damage stuff. She's going to be looking pretty impressive. Gauge stuff as well. Like, she's covering a lot of bases. 4 out of 5, she gets Trainer Sync Redemption. Okay. In my opinion, this is a very good tile for her. I think this is actually a very solid tile for her as a Master Fair, because this is going to be giving this back, which gives all the Sync Countdown, Super Effective Next, and Special Moves Up Next effects, but it's also giving you another set of the Circle, and, of course, that 50% extension, you know, they're on top of it. I think this is very good. I think this is very, very good. It's allowing you to get more special moves up next to then have another very, very strong next attack after that, and then also giving you that circle there, which is just more time for the circle. You might not want to have to run her with like alt Selene or something like that, and it's going to be looking very, very good. I love Trainer Sync Redemption on this character at 4 out of 5, no less, not even 5 out of 5, and of course, you know, no energy to have to get to like the sync tile is also very, very solid. And then 5 out of 5, she gets First Hit, Ghost Zone, and Extension 3. This is less... Okay. This is a solid tile, I would say, especially, again, running her with like that alt Selene, alt Elio type of setup if you really want to do that, or just another character that doesn't have Ghost Zone. This can be good for that, but I think the biggest thing you can bring with this is whenever we get our EX Ghost Zone setter, this can play with them. They can set their EX Ghost Zone. She can land her first attack, and then you've got that Ghost Zone extended and, well, Ghost Zone extended from the set from Selene doing the Ghost Zone setting. That's very hard to explain. And then the 30% extension on top of that. That'll be very, very good. I do like this tile for her. I think I think it's good now. It's good enough now because you have the biggest Ghost Zone partner you're gonna run with her is probably Summer Gardenia. She just sets Ghost Zone so many times, and you know, obviously really good. But I think it's a great tile to have. It'll be an even better, like more vital tile to have whenever we do get that EX Ghost Zone setter that can be run alongside her. And I do think that will happen for sure. So. And then also an arc suit. Ghost does not have its arc suit yet. We'll have to see how they end up working. Maybe they could even be the same thing. EX Ghost Zone setter that is the arc suit. That could be broken. But I like both of these 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5 tiles. I don't think 5 out of 5 is vital now. I like you can just run her with Summer Gardenia and kind of like have a day. But if you're going to be trying to run her on a setup that does not have a ghost focus, again, the one I've been using this entire time, Alt Elio and Selene as potential partners for her, this could be a very good tile to get her some ghost damage in early on. I can see good usage in that. So as like a grid for her to build, if you're just gonna like build her at 3 out of 5, I recommend 4 out of 5 for the Trainer Sync Redemption. But if you just want to do 3 out of 5, let's see, you deal with the Furious Brain. Let's see, if you don't need either of those tiles, god no, fuck right off, please. Pick up that stuff and probably like that. I would love to get this tile if at all possible. Yeah, it's possible at 10 out of 10 pretty easily at that too. I like this tile, I like the gauge managing stuff on it, but if you can't pick it up, it's fine. You can probably just end up picking up like Moongeist Beam Gauge Refresh 3 here, I guess, if you want to do that, or like Circle Gauge Up. No, 7. Damn. Or just run a gauge efficient character. Just do it that way. 10 out of 5. I mean, there you go. Like there we go. There's that. You could, if you want to like maybe skip on a sync tile, you can do this instead. That's fine. Doesn't really matter too much. It's good though. I love the free moves next tile. This is very helpful. But if you don't want to run it, you don't have to. You can just run something like this, and boom, there you go. 10 out of 5 Selene, working pretty well. Obviously, if she's only 4 out of 5, then well, there you go. That's fine as well. You get the sync tile that way, makes it a lot easier. Good stuff. And if you want some extra gauge stuff, you can probably just skip out on this. That's fine. Which, by the way, at 3 out of 5, is that possible? No, sadly. Well, that way it is. Sure, yeah. That could work at 3 out of 5 if you want some extra gauge stuff and don't want to like play around too much. But yeah, anyway, so I think Selene's very good. She looks very, very good, and she looks like she'll be very good for the future as well. Like, she's good now to run with like Summer Gardenia or, you know, any other like big, like solid ghost type setup. Maybe Ingo's not, I mean, Ingo's got one set of Ghost Zone as well. How does Ingo set his Ghost Zone again? Max move Ghost Zone. You can probably potentially run him and Selene together for like Ghost Zone stuff if you want to really like have fun, or like just have fun and mess around with that. But of course, biggest Ghost Zone setter is going to be Summer Gardenia. If you can kind of if you can get her, that's probably like the biggest issue for people is if you even have Summer Gardenia. But if you do, it's not that bad. And even without like Ghost Zone setups, you can do some good Ghost cores with like her and Eriott. And then if you do want Ghost Zone, well, Renegade Cynthia's right there, right? Not that amazing of an option because they kind of both want to sync, but figure that one out. Again, she'll be very, very good in the future once we get that arc suit for Ghost as well as the EX Ghost Zone setter. She'll be very, very good then, even though she is also very, very good now. Like, she's very good now, but has a lot of room to expand in the future. So I like that. And I also do like her ability to work very well with both of her alt variations of Elio, well, both of her alt variations, just alt Elio and Selene, right? It doesn't really work well with Decidueye, even though it does have a ghost move, or what's the other one? Scizor, right? But it's fine. So overall, that's my thoughts on Champion Selene and Shiny Dawn Wings Necrozma. Let me know what you think about them in the comments below, and well, how strong you think they are and stuff like that. If you're going to be going for them, will I be going for them? Probably not. I'm probably just going to be skipping everything this month, not really caring too much. It is what it is. But yeah, whatever. I'll see you later. Hope y'all enjoyed. Good luck on your summons. Good luck on your skipping. Peace.